Now we'll have our public comment. First, we'll have Amy Bateman Harmon on accountability. How much? How much? We'll have 3 minutes. Amy here. Okay. Next, we'll have Heidi Matthews, Utah Education Association. Welcome, Heidi, here.
Frantically writing little notes here. Good morning. Heidi Matthews, president of the Utah Education Association. Teachers in Utah, I think we should send a little prayer for them today, the day after. So many teachers in Utah and with the UEA, we've been joining in this national movement of Red for Ed, a pro-public education, really focusing on what we need to have, with the resources that we need to be able to fulfill the promise of public education for each and every student. Unlike other states, we see the impacts of chronic underfunding in public education and are uniting collectively into action. Unlike the other states, we are not protesting. We have the enviable opportunity to collaborate with you, to collaborate with our Public Ed Coalition, which is made up of PTA and the School Boards Association and superintendents, and with our business partners. And this collaboration on funding for education, our UEA effort has really been on question one and our schools now. So regardless of what happens on November 6th, the needs of our students will still remain. They'll still exist. And regardless of the decision, we're still going to have a legislative session that we need to really weigh in on collaboratively to make sure that the resources are allocated, the necessary resources are allocated so we can continue to fulfill that promise. So as you prioritize for the session, we ask that you consider discussion and prioritization along with some of the proposals that we have put together for some long-term funding focus in 4 major goal areas. The first one is on individual student attention, addressing the teacher shortage, student equity, and student health and safety. And we have a briefing that's a draft that we're putting together. Would love to share with you as we finalize that. Important with the student health and safety to recognize that this is a long-term solution, that one-time fundings for perhaps physical changes to buildings, while sometimes necessary, it's far more important to be looking at those impacts in trauma-informed schools, looking at restorative practices, and those types of investments that over the long term will see decreases in school violence and increases in student mental health and well-being. So with that, I just, if you haven't already voted, I'm sure you've already all voted, but wanted to get that on the record, and looking forward to working collaboratively on making sure our students have the resources that they need. So happy November. Thankful for you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have David Thelen. Hopefully I got that right. Okay.
First of all, I'd like to mention thank you, Chairman Mark Huntsman, and everybody else on the board. I'd also like to mention thank you to the teachers and all the students who are trying hard. I'd like to thank everybody. But the case I wanted to bring up is I wish to talk about the possible way to reduce school suspensions during classes and teens' delinquent behaviors after school. You ever heard of the term HALT? HALT stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired. HALT affects the behavior of people. Since I have only 3 minutes to speak, I will only talk about the effects about being hungry on behavior. The state of Utah schools could do a simple test, and officials could do a simple survey on the effect of being hungry on students' bad behavior to see if there are correlations between being hungry and behavior. What if students were fed in between the start of school and lunch at around 10 a.m. Students would also be fed just before they leave school at 3 p.m., at around 3 p.m. Then each school would record the suspension rate for those students who are given mid-morning and mid-afternoon snacks. School officials would compare the number of suspensions before this program is started. Can feeding teens before they leave school for the day affect juvenile delinquent behaviors after classes? As most kids get into trouble between 3 and 6 p.m., many of them are very hungry, and they may have not had a bite to eat since around noon. To quantify if these kids get into trouble, if they are hungry, police who obtain teens for bad behavior will ask them two simple questions. How hungry are you, and when's the last time you've eaten? The answers to these questions would be uploaded to a database where the state of Utah school board could see if there's a correlation. At the same time, did you know 40% of all food is wasted? Why not have our communities innovate? Grocery stores and restaurants would donate this food before it goes bad. Many grocery stores and restaurants already make deliveries. These food outlets would simply transport their excess food to the neighborhood schools. This food would be fed to the students at the times mentioned, so to make schools and make our schools and neighborhoods safer. How do you pay for this new program? The following is proposed. Grocery store customers would be asked to pick up an extra healthy item. Maybe it could be just a simple banana to donate to schools. At checkout lines, at checkout, customers would be also donate $1 to pay for the delivery costs. Restaurants could also donate excess food to schools. Restaurant patrons would ask if they don't mind getting a smaller portion for breakfast and lunch. This would cut down on the leftovers that are simply thrown away later on. Students could eat the food, not waste it instead. Customers would also be asked if they would they like to donate an extra $1 to pay for the delivery. Breakfast food would be donated for mid-morning snacks, and lunch food would be donated for mid-afternoon snacks. Logistically, the food retail outlets would deliver these items to the school's cafeteria drop-off points. Cafeteria workers would move this food to hallway locations throughout the schools so teachers can pick up and use it to feed their students in class at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. The classes at these times would be extended so students can eat. HALT is a real and it affects students' behaviors. Let's invent yourself. Let's get creative. Let's make our schools and neighborhoods safer by such proposals. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for your comments.
Okay,
And also
thank
your
you.
email.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have Lucia Miramontes. And I apologize saying your name as a question because I hope I got it right.
Yeah, it was close enough. Lucia Miramontes.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. As you can see, I am a recent graduate of Salt Lake City School District. I graduated in 2016 from Highland High, and I am a current student at the University of Utah. Today, I'm here because I saw an article on the Deseret News by Mejor Cortez labeled "School Board Gets $8.4 Million Grant Targeting Students' Mental Health Issues." And I thought, wow, that's amazing. I'm a part of the Americans with Disabilities Act. I receive accommodations at the University of Utah that I've just recently have gone through, and I've dealt with mental health issues all of my life, pretty much. And it's been hard for me, specifically in college now today. But I have had help throughout my school and my high school career, and I was really excited to see this article. But when I read into the article, I saw that the schools that would receive this grant are Alpine District, Cache District, and Jordan District, which have a graduation rate from 87% to 95%. And I thought, okay, this is 1/4 of the school of the students in Utah. That makes sense. Let me go on your guys' website and put in all of the data. And I looked at your guys' data, and I put together my own information that grabs all of the graduating percentiles in Utah from each district, and I've measured all of the lowest, which ranged from 75% to 79%. And these are Granite District, Murray District, North Stampede District, Ogden District, Provo District, Salt Lake District, and South Summit District. And I thought, okay, well, that's a lot of districts. Let me grab all of the numbers of the cohort counts of students graduating. Maybe there's just too many kids in these districts, but they're not. The cohort count of all of the students who will receive the grant in Alpine, Cache, and Jordan are 11,000, and with all of 7 of these districts I put together with the lowest graduating rates are 10,000. I have 30 seconds. To improve education, I promote quality mental health programs to be placed in lower graduating rates districts. Students should receive quality education regardless of location. I wish the programs could spread to all districts, but there are financial limits, and I understand that. Schools in Alpine, Cache, and Jordan are very affluent areas. These schools are largely middle class and wealthy students and have the ability to receive mental health services through families and connections, unlike economically disadvantaged students in these other areas with low graduation rates. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Did Amy make it here? We'll give one more opportunity. Nope. Okay, this concludes our public comment portion on our agenda. Okay, board members, next we're going to